Dear students, good morning. Yesterday we were discussing about proteins. Today we continue a special protein called enzymes. Then after the completion of that, we move into the other biomolecules, lipids, vitamins and the nucleic acid. So as I told already, enzymes are the proteins, right? So the major application of enzyme is catalysis. So in living beings, many biological reactions are taking place. For these biological reactions, enzymes are acting as catalyst. So enzymes are mainly used as biocatalysts, and each enzyme is utilized for one particular biological reaction. So enzymes are the special proteins. Mainly they are used as a catalyst in biological reactions. When we use enzyme, a rate of biological reaction will be increased. Whenever we use a catalyst, activation energy will be reduced, so that rate of the reaction will be increased. When we use enzyme, the rate will be increased in terms of 10 power 5. Okay. Then regarding the selection of enzyme for a particular reaction, highly specific in nature. Enzymes are highly specific in nature regarding the biological reactions. So one particular enzyme will be utilized for one particular biological reaction. So we can take some biological reactions and what enzyme is used as a catalyst. So we take three reactions. First one, interconversion of carbonic acid into carbon dioxide into water. So take H2CO3, carbonic acid. The carbonic acid can be converted into carbon dioxide and water. Then again carbon dioxide and water will combine together to produce carbonic acid. So this is a reversible process. Interconversion is possible. For this we take what enzyme? Carbonic anhydrase. One more. Next one, hydrolysis of sucrose. Right. So when we take disaccharides, sucrose, lactose, during the hydrolysis they will give glucose and fructose, right? So for the hydrolysis of sucrose, we take the enzyme sucrase. For the hydrolysis of lactose, we take the enzyme lactase. So three examples have given in our introduction part. Enzymes are the special proteins. They are used as a catalyst in biological reactions. By adding the biological catalyst, activation energy is reduced, rate of the reaction is increased in the order of 10 power 5, and the catalyst is highly specific in its activity. So same is applicable for biocatalyst enzyme also. So if you take carbonic anhydrase, which is used for the interconversion of carbonic acid into carbon dioxide as well as water. Next, hydrolysis of disaccharides, so sucrose as well as lactose. So biological reaction, so we can use biocatalyst enzymes. So sucrase is used for the hydrolysis of sucrose as well as lactase is used for the hydrolysis of lactose. So with this introduction part of enzyme is over. Next we move into the mechanism of enzyme action. So in surface chemistry lesson we already completed. In 10th lesson already we completed the mechanism of enzyme catalysis. The same is repeated here. So whenever a catalyst is used in a reaction, the reactant molecules will be attached on the surface of catalyst. So the same type of a process will be applicable for enzyme catalysis also. So we take enzyme catalysis, biological reactions. Enzymes are acting as the biocatalysts. The reactant molecule will be adsorbed on the surface of a catalyst. The same type of process is also taking here. So consider reactant. So organic reactant molecule is called as what? Substrate. Substrate means organic reactant molecule which is bonded with enzyme. Enzyme is a biological catalyst. So by combining these two we get an activated complex. So the activated complex is called enzyme substrate complex. So this is like a transition state. So when enzyme is used as a catalyst, a substrate molecule is combining with the catalyst enzyme, it forms an activated complex called enzyme substrate complex. So this is like a transition state. So activated complex is nothing but a transition state. And since it is unstable in nature, again there is formation of product. So due to decomposition of this activated complex, we get product with the regeneration of enzyme. So what is the role of catalyst? At the end of the reaction, catalyst will be regenerated without any change in composition as well as mass. So this is the mechanism of enzyme catalysis. We already completed this in the previous lesson, surface chemistry, 10th lesson. So when a substrate is added with the enzyme, it forms activated complex, enzyme substrate complex, decomposed to produce desired product with the regeneration of enzyme. Now this mechanism is like a lock and key mechanism because the catalytic activity of enzyme is a highly specific in nature. One particular catalyst is used for one particular biological reaction. So this is like a lock and key mechanism. So consider a suitable key which can be used to open the lock, right? So when we have a correct key for a lock, it can be opened. So we will get the product. So we assume that the lock as enzyme and a key as a substrate. When we use a proper key for the lock, it will be opened. The same way, when a proper substrate and a enzyme are combining, we get product. So if you are not taking the proper key, you cannot open the lock, right? So incorrect key cannot open the lock. So that the same way, when you take improper key as well as lock, you will not get the product, right? So always enzyme catalysis is a highly specific in nature. Okay, so the mechanism of enzyme catalysis is called a lock and key mechanism. So with this, proteins over. Already we have completed carbohydrates. Next molecule is protein. We have completed proteins with enzymes. So next biomolecule is lipids. So as we discussed, 4 important biomolecules are going to be studied in this lesson: carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, nucleic acids. 2 biomolecules we have finished. This is third one, lipids. So lipids are the organic molecules, right? So this is also like organic molecule. So the lipids are generally insoluble in water. So organic means non-polar in nature, so cannot be dissolved in polar solvent water. So the lipids are nothing but fat molecules. So since it is organic or non-polar in nature, it can be dissolved only in organic solvents like chloroform, methanol and so on. Then the word lipid is derived from Greek language. So in Greek, lipos means fat. So lipids are nothing but fats, right? So fatty substances are called generally lipids. Next, what is the role of lipid? Lipid is the principal component of cell membranes. When you take the cells in the living beings, for each cell, the lipid is the primary or principal component. So this is the major component in the cell of living beings, right? And what is the major application of lipid? Lipid is providing the energy like a carbohydrate. So we take a carbohydrate, it provides energy for the normal functioning of a human body. In the same way, lipids are present in the human body. The lipids are also providing, lipids are nothing but fats, they are providing energy, but energy will be given in more amount. Comparing the carbohydrates, 2 to 3 times more energy will be provided by lipids. Then classification of lipids, this is based on the structure. So based on the structure, we classify the lipids into 3 types: simple lipid, compound lipid, derived lipid. One by one we will discuss. First we take simple lipids. Then simple lipids are of 2 types, right, based on what molecule is present. So simple lipid is of 2 types. One is fat, another one is wax, right? The molecular arrangement will be different. In simple lipids, in the fats as well as waxes, molecular arrangement will be different. To take the fats, they are the ester of long chain fatty acids with glycerol. So trihydric alcohol will be there. Okay. So ester of trihydric alcohol. Generally we call them as glyceric triester or triglycerides, as we studied in 11th lesson, hydroxy compounds lesson. We have prepared glycerol from triglyceride, isn't it? So the reaction was called as what? Chapanification reaction. So soap is obtained along with the glycerol. So we already studied the preparation of glycerol. So glycerol is prepared from triglyceride. So fats are nothing but what? Triglycerides, right? So they are the esters of long chain fatty acids which will contain glycerol. So from the glycerol we have obtained the esters, right? So trihydric alcohol we have obtained this. So this is called fat. Next, wax means instead of trihydric, monohydric alcohol will be there. So this is a major difference between the fats as well as waxes. So waxes are the ester of fatty acids with long chain monohydric alcohol. Simply we call them as beeswax. Okay. So there are three types of lipids: simple, compound, and derived. We take first one, simple liquid, based on the arrangement within the molecule. There are two types: fats as well as waxes. Next, compound lipids. Compound lipids are also esters of fatty acids but not long chain fatty acids, right? The chain will not a longer chain like a palmitic acid, isn't it? So we obtained triglyceride from palmitic acid. So this is not like that. Palmitic acid has nearly 16 carbon atoms. We studied in 11th lesson. So this is ester of fatty acid. The fatty acid is a simple acid. So simple lipids means they are the esters of long chain fatty acids. Compound lipids means they are the esters of simple fatty acids with the glycerol. So in this molecule, so in this esters, there will be additional groups. Okay. Additional groups will be present in this compound lipids. Based on the additional groups, it is classified into three types: phospholipids, glycolipids, and lipoproteins. So what type of additional group is present in the compound lipid? So phosphoester linkage will be there. If you take phospholipids, the linkage will be phosphoester linkage. Glycolipids means a sugar molecule will be present as an additional molecule, right? So sugar will be the additional group. Lipoproteins means it's a complex of lipid with the proteins. So proteins will be present along with the lipids. So this is compound lipids. Okay. So based on the structure, lipids are of two types: a simple and a compound. Three types: a simple, compound, and a derived lipids. Next, what are the biological importance or applications of lipids? First one, this is mainly used for structural integrity of the cell. In each cell, lipid is present. So this is a major principal component in the cell of living beings, mostly in animals. So this is mainly used for the structural integrity. Then, like carbohydrates, it provides energy for the living beings. Then this lipid is acting as a protective coating in aquatic organisms, right? So in aquatic organisms, this provides a protective coating. Next, the lipids present in connective tissues are protecting the internal organs. So internal organs in living beings are protected by the lipids of connective tissues. Then this is a very good absorber and transporter of vitamins, right? So we have two types of vitamins. So fat soluble vitamins are absorbed and transported by the lipids. Then lipids are activating the enzymes. This is also one of the role. So lipids are activating the enzymes like lipases. So the lipase enzyme can be activated by the lipids. Then lipids are acting as emulsifier in fat metabolism, right? So these are the biological importance of lipids. Next, biomolecule, vitamins. So vitamin is very essential for human health, right? So vitamin is in very lesser quantity in human body. A less quantity of vitamin is there. If there is vitamin deficiency or if we have excess of vitamin quantity, it leads to diseases, right? So vitamins cannot be synthesized in the body. If you take amino acids are synthesized in the body, but if you take vitamins, which will not be synthesized in the human body, so we have to take vitamins from outside, like a diet. Okay, so if there is a deficiency or extra vitamin quantity, it leads to disease. Then what is a major application of vitamin is, which is used as a coenzyme in biological reactions. So enzyme is used as a catalyst in biological reactions. This vitamin is activating the enzymes. One more question we already studied in surface chemistry lesson, isn't it? Catalytic activity can be enhanced by the coenzymes. So vitamins are the coenzymes. They are activating the catalytic activity. Next, the word vitamin is derived from the word vital amine, because in earlier days we thought that vitamins are obtained from the amino based organic compounds, so that vital amine has become now vitamin. Okay. The major application of vitamin is for the normal growth as well as health. We need vitamin. So for the maintenance of health as well as normal growth, we need vitamins. Next, based on the solubility, vitamins are of two types, as we studied in lower classes: fat soluble vitamins and water soluble vitamins. So fat soluble vitamins are stored in the fatty tissues. So in the fatty tissues, fat soluble vitamins are stored. So in the liver as well as fatty tissues, they are stored. Generally, this is soluble in fat, not soluble in water. So example, vitamin A, D, E, K are the examples of fat soluble vitamins. Next, water soluble vitamins, they are soluble only in water. And this cannot be stored in the human body. Like fat soluble vitamin, this water soluble vitamin cannot be stored. So often or continuously we have to take these vitamins. So regularly we have to take these vitamins from food in order to avoid diseases, right? Examples of water soluble vitamins: vitamin B as well as C. Okay, vitamin B and C. So here C will come, right? Vitamin B and C are the examples of water soluble vitamins. Vitamin B is of different types: B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B7, B9 and B12. Next, as I told, deficiency of vitamin will lead to diseases. As we studied in lower classes, what is the source, functioning and deficiency disease of each vitamin is given. This we already studied in lower classes as well as in biology. So just to go through the deficiency diseases of vitamins. If you have any doubt, just inform, we will discuss in online class. So this is the last biomolecule, right? So in this chapter, this is the last biomolecule, nucleic acids, right? So nucleic acids are present in the cells. Like lipids, nucleic acids are also present in the cells. So this is present in the chromosomes. We know that chromosomes are the particles which are present in the nucleus of the animal cells. So proteins and nucleic acids are present in the chromosomes. Chromosomes are the particles present in the nucleus of the cells, and the role of chromosome is, this is a transmitter of genetic information from one generation into another generation. The information will be carried, right? So genetic information will be carried out by chromosomes from one generation into another generation. So nucleic acid is very essential for living beings. So there are two type of nucleic acids, DNA as well as RNA, deoxyribonucleic acid and ribonucleic acid. So as I said, this nucleic acid is carrying genetic information in the organisms. Next, what is the composition as well as the structure of nucleic acids? So nucleic acid is a polymer, it's a biopolymer. So like a protein, proteins are made up of alpha amino acids by peptide bond. The same way, nucleic acids are made up of nucleotides. So what are the basic units present in the nucleic acids? Nucleotides. So by the combination of nucleotides, we are getting the biopolymer nucleic acids. So when we do controlled hydrolysis of nucleic acids, we get three major components, right? So when we take nucleic acids, DNA as well as RNA, by controlled hydrolysis, we get the information about three components. So there are three major components in the nucleic acids. They are nitrogen base or nitrogenous base, pentose sugar as well as phosphate group. One by one we will discuss. Nitrogen or nitrogenous base means so organic compounds present in the nucleic acids containing nitrogen. So nitrogen based organic molecules will be present in the nucleic acids. So this is the first component. Organic nitrogen based compounds will be in the nucleic acids. So these nitrogen based compounds are derived from two parent compounds. They are called purine as well as pyrimidine. Okay, so the two parent compounds are purine as well as pyrimidine. From these two, many nitrogen based compounds are derived. So we take examples. Adenine as well as guanine. These two are the nitrogen bases obtained from purine. So from the parent compound purine, we have obtained adenine as well as guanine. So these two nitrogen bases are present in DNA as well as RNA. In both the type of nucleic acids, we have adenine as well as guanine. The structures are given, right? From the parent compound purine, we have obtained adenine as well as guanine. Then cytosine is derived from the pyrimidine. So three compounds: cytosine, thymine as well as uracil. All the three nitrogenous bases are the derivatives of parent compound pyrimidine. And if you take cytosine, which is present in both DNA as well as RNA, thymine is present only in DNA, uracil is present only in RNA. So these are all nitrogenous bases. So the structures are given: pyrimidine as well as thymine. So first component over. Second component, pentose sugar. So two type of pentoses are available in the nucleic acids. Two type of pentoses in DNA as well as RNA. Different pentoses are available. First, DNA. The basic component of DNA is deoxyribonucleotide. We know that nucleic acids are the biopolymers of nucleotides. So in DNA, what is the basic unit? Deoxyribonucleotide. This contains what pentose? 2-deoxy-D-ribose. Next, RNA. The nucleotide is ribonucleotide. RNA is made up of ribonucleotides which are containing pentose D-ribose. Okay, so two type of pentoses are available in nucleic acids. Both are 5-membered rings. So 2-deoxy-D-ribose and D-ribose. Both are 5-membered rings. So they are having what form? Beta furanose form. Right. So these are the pentoses. So two pentoses, right? Ribose and deoxyribose. So this is available in RNA. This is available in DNA. Then third component, phosphate group, right? So in nucleic acids, phosphate group is present. So this is formed due to phosphor diester bond between the nucleotides. So in nucleic acids, between the nucleotides, there is a formation of phosphor diester bond. Okay, so we have phosphoric acids in the nucleotides. The phosphoric acids present in the nucleotides will make what type of bond? Phosphor diester bond. So this will produce a phosphate group, right? So based on this one, we have three type of nucleotides: mono, di, as well as tri. So based on phosphate group. Okay. So a nucleotide contains how much phosphate groups, 1 or 2 or 3. Based on that, we have 3 nucleotides: mono, di, as well as trinucleotide. So this is the structure of phosphate group. Next, what are nucleosides and nucleotides? So we have completed the 3 components of nucleic acids: nitrogen base, pentose sugar, third one is phosphate group. 3 we have completed. Next one, nucleosides and nucleotides. The nucleosides are formed when base is combining with the sugar, right? So when base combines with the sugar, we get nucleoside, or else we can say nucleoside is a molecule without a phosphate group. We don't have any phosphate group, so the molecule is called a nucleoside. Nucleotide means which is obtained from nucleoside. So nucleoside is a molecule without phosphate group, so which is formed by combining sugar with base. Nucleotides can be obtained by adding phosphate group with nucleoside. So by the addition of phosphate group with the nucleoside, we get nucleotide. So this is the basic structural repeating unit. By combining more number of nucleotides, we are getting polynucleotides. Polynucleotide is nothing but what? Nucleic acid, DNA and RNA. Right? So nucleotides are obtained by adding phosphate group with the nucleosides. So we add phosphoric acid with nucleosides. So there will be a formation of ester bond, right? So ester bond will be formed. Then it will become nucleotide. So this addition of phosphoric acid is called phosphorylation. With the nucleoside, we add phosphoric acid. So this addition process is called a phosphorylation, and this will take place at 5th OH group of sugar. So in the nucleoside, 5th OH of sugar will be attacked by this phosphoric acid. So the process is called phosphorylation. So between the nucleotides, as we said, there will be what linkage? Ester linkage. Okay. So phosphodiester linkage will be present between the nucleotides. So this diester bond is responsible for the formation of nucleic acid. So between the nucleotides, if there is no bond like this, we won't have any nucleic acid. And this type of bond is present between 5th OH group of one nucleotide and a 3rd OH group of another nucleotide. So with this, formation of nucleoside and a nucleotide over. So n number of nucleotides are combining together by diester bond, phosphodiester bond. We get DNA as well as RNA. So with this, today's class over. Tomorrow we will discuss about double strand helical structure of DNA. Thank you.